to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And for the candidates' benefit, hello, Joe, be quiet.
All right.
Gary is going to explain for the benefit of the candidates and the audience how the questions are going to go. You can use this mic here. Do you know how to use it? Show them how to use it.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We will go through a minute and a half of introductions and what your platform might be for your next term. After that, we'll open up the floor. Ray has 3 questions he will ask you. You will have a minute and a half to answer those questions. After Ray is done, I don't know if they'll have to meet or not. No? Okay. Then we'll open it up to the audience.
And live stream.
And what?
And the live stream text.
Okay. For those questions, and you'll have a minute and a half to answer those. After we're done with that, we'll let you do a closing statement. Another minute and a half. Okay. Any questions? I will hold up the yellow flag. 1 minute into it, so you've got 30 seconds left. At the end, I'll hold up the red one. If you continue to go.
And Gary can be a little grouchy.
Only when Ray's around.
Thank you, Gary. Does everybody understand that, candidate? And John will be here in 10, 15 minutes. So maybe Justin, you'll switch places with him. That's okay. But wherever you want to sit, yeah. But he'll be the last one. All right. Like I said, we're live streaming. You go currently, Bill can't figure out why we can't get on our own website, but it's live stream on YouTube, Redmove Live, and it's on there, and you can see it up on the board. And I've given permission, maybe even Trista, get up here. I introduced you. Sit over there. All right, we're ready to go. Kathleen, you're first on the line, and you're in the hot seat. Your opening 1.5 minute intro.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I do not want to get gavelled, so I'm going to make it in under 1.5 minutes. My name is Kathleen Taylor. I am the city councilwoman right now for Reno downtown, the university, everything east to the Sparks City line. I'm running for Reno mayor, and my platform is very easy. No nonsense, back to basics leadership, and putting Reno taxpayers first. Fiscal responsibility is the #1 thing of the foundation of my campaign, and everything else builds upon that. Thank you so much. I look forward to your questions.
Boy, that's the fastest I've seen an intro.
Back to basics, no nonsense.
No nonsense. Get to the nitty. Next candidate should compliment. She has a great pizza place, among many different things she does. And that's Veronica Cortez. I never say your last name right. Tamameni?
Veronica Cortez Tamentini. Tamentini is my Italian last name. Thank you.
Okay.
Tamentini, yep.
Anyway, she is now running as a candidate for Assembly 27. And for each of you, I want you to describe the area you're running. For Kathleen, it's easier. It's the whole city of Reno. But for the rest of you, or even just in the county, but for you and John, describe the area. Anyway, with that, Veronica, take it away. Intro.
Hello, everybody. Wait, let me pull this down a little bit.
You got to bring it closer.
Okay, there we go. Hi. Everybody, my name is Veronica Cortez Tamentini, locally raised. And I did start my campaign out as running for County Commissioner District 5. And as I realized there was a lot of good people running for that race, it's not beneficial to run against each other, especially if we're running on the same platform. So we need to support one another, especially if we have, common interest. Everybody thought it was a great idea that I went to school board since I've been a lunch lady since 1999. And once I started going to school board meetings and I started meeting the people who were in there, we really got to do some changes. And unfortunately, it's not going to be done at the board level. It has to be boots on the ground kind of stuff. So talking to people in the area, District 27, Nevada Assembly is open. They don't have any candidates running on the Republican side. Heather Golding, who's in there now, I honestly don't know her, but what I've heard about her, it hasn't been, I don't want to say good, but it really hasn't benefited the public or what their interests have been. So I would be glad to run against her with the support of everybody here, knowing that I'm a local, born, raised. My area is going to cover Sun Valley. I did win the Community Service Award for Sun Valley. I got a pizza plate out there. I'm a mobile notary. I got a community service. We're helping criminals stay out of jail. And I can't wait to get up to the assembly with your support so we can get the good laws in and the bad laws out and put citizens first as a leader and a representative. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Veronica. Next will be Justin Taylor, our Washoe treasurer, currently and running again.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Justin Taylor, I am your friendly tax collector. That wasn't supposed to be funny. Anyhow, the function of my office is we bill, collect, distribute, and invest the taxes that you all and myself pay to keep the county functions up and running. I don't have anything to do with the political aspect of the game, how the county spends their money. I make sure that the bank accounts are charged, and I also invest. I will say when I took this office, I took it for several reasons. One being our former financial advisor was not living up to expectations, so I fired him. And through the RFP process, brought on an active money investor, and we've taken those returns from 24 million up to 44 million my first year, 43 million the second, projected 38 million this year. That's money that goes into the county coffer. It's the only way the county can make money without it coming in the form of a tax or a fee. So I take that very seriously. With that, I will yield back my 24 and a half seconds if I had that right.
Wow, nobody's getting a gavel, Gary. They're being really good. John Tillerin will be here shortly and we'll do it. With that in mind, we'll go back to Kathleen. Kathleen, why are you running for the mayor's office? And by the way, yeah, she knows, turn the button off when you're not speaking.
Okay. Thank you for the question. The reason why I'm running for the Reno mayor position is I'm afraid of where the city will be without conservative fiscal responsibility leadership in the next 10 years. I'm running because I have the experience as a small business owner, as a mother, as a native Nevadan, and I believe that we need some real leadership at the city of Reno. I'm the person to do it and bring that to us. We have some hard decisions to make. That's going to start with, again, fiscal responsibility. We've got to make some cuts. We've got to increase some revenues. We've got to do a combination of both. I want to leave this place better than I left it, and we need a vision for the next 10 to 15 years, not just the next 2 or 3 years election cycle. And that's going to take discipline. It's going to take some collaboration, working with our regional partners. And I have the plan to do it and actually put it in place.
Boy, you're direct to the point. All right, second question. If elected to mayor, you're on the city council, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish?
Well,
specifically?
Specifically, we always have to have a balanced budget. So to say that we have a balanced budget is really just lip service. What we need to do is we need to live within the means of the city of Reno. That means we need to stop doing things that we aren't responsible for and let our county partners and our other partners do it. The city of Reno is responsible for police, fire, public safety, roads, infrastructure, sewer, parks. Those are the things that we are going to be focused on. I'm also going to work with my council members to get more representation on the regional boards that we serve on. I don't think Reno has done a fantastic job of doing that through our TUMWAs, through R2C, through the Reno Housing Authority. That's the place where we can work regionally better. That's the first goal is get within our financial means. We got to stop spending more than we make and bring in. It's very simple. I think there are some things that we need to do to streamline our government at the city of Reno. And then the fun thing, we need to bring more housing and make it easier for businesses to operate. Also, on the economic development side, we have our redevelopment agencies that are an opportunity for growth. And downtown Reno, all day long.
Next part of it kind of ties in. You have goals. How are you going to implement them?
So when I think about all the things that I want to do or the things that we need to do as a city, you probably have 20 or 30 different objectives or goals. The things that we can realistically do, we can get our financial house in order. We need to get at least 100 more cops. We need to invest in downtown and where the redevelopment agencies are. So we have tools to do that. I would like to see an audit, which we are going through right now with the city manager to look at all of our accounts and balances. I do that every month when we get that. Cut out the services that we don't need or that we don't get any money for. I would also like to look at regionalization opportunities from a financial standpoint. That doesn't mean consolidation, but there are things that the city does, that the county does, where we're overlapping in sparks. Nobody knows the difference anymore. We have real infrastructure problems and maintenance backlogs where if we work together, which is going to take some time, we can get to a place where we're working collaboratively. And then again, on the redevelopment side for economic development, we need to make it easier to do business in the city of Reno so we can attract the businesses and the industries that we want to invest in our region.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are pretty good answers. Before I go on to the next one, and John Kellerman just got here. He's running against Mike Clark, Washoe 2, right? You're next. Well, you're after Veronica.
So my lateness is a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, we're on live, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway, what kind of business experience have you had, and how many children, and all that? A little bit of you.
You want to know about me?
Well, yeah.
Well, like I said, I was born and raised here. Went to school at UNR. I have two daughters that are 23 and 20 that I've raised here, that have gone to school here. I've been in the transportation industry for almost 35 years now. I started a small business about 15 years ago, and I support communications and training for infrastructure projects, work through the contractor or an engineering firm. I have one of the things I'm most proud of is my consistent voting record. I have about 10 years of a voting record that you can actually go and look at through the Planning Commission and through my time on council. You won't see any big surprises, but you can pretty much count on me to be consistent. I've also worked on the Building Enterprise Fund before I got this job at council. I am vice chair of the Eddy House, which serves youth homeless people. And before that, I was the executive director for the Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation. So I have nonprofit experience, business experience, government experience, but real life experience. And I would say my mom experience is the most important.
Well, thank you. I think people need to know about each candidate, a little bit of personal. Thank you. Next will be Veronica. We'll put her on the hot seat next.
I'm a lunch lady. I'm not afraid of hot. Hottest lunch lady on the block.
Veronica, why are you running for 27?
It's easy. There's nobody running for 27. We have absolutely zero representation in our area. Who's going to represent us? The person that's been there, the incumbent or incompetent? I didn't college. I didn't go to college. I took some university in Mexico, learned the grammar, learned the Spanish. Mi español es de un nivel 10. When I studied at the Washoe County, they used to have a Matley. My Spanish is high level, and my English proficiency is low. But that doesn't surprise me because I was indoctrinated by the Washoe County School District, and I still am because I work there. And the only way that we're going to get that change is if we get above them. And the only way to do that is to get the right person in the right seat. We can't just give up this fight. We can't say, she's going to get it because she always does and she has a representation. Let's get the change. Let's be the change. Let's be that time when they're like, oh, wow, they put somebody in there who knows nothing and is doing the right thing because she's listening to the people.
Thank you.
I don't know where to go with that.
No, next question. What are your goals that you want to accomplish at the crazy legislature?
Well, I think my number one goal is to stop the unbeneficial things that are being passed on down to the citizens. The people who are making these decisions, they've lost touch with reality. They've lost touch with the roads we're driving on. They've lost touch with paying our taxes, how hard it is to get home insurance. They don't care because they're sitting on 6 figures and they're taking kickbacks from Nevada Energy and Waste Management and all these people who are monopolizing our citizens. And we need somebody who doesn't take kickbacks, somebody who's worked for the system, who's worked up through the system, and now is going to use the system to defend and support and represent and lead the people. That's what it's about, is getting the people first. And the only way to do that is to get as high as you can and put these good morals back number one. God, family, country. That's what it's about. That's what we should be striving for. That's why I'm doing it. I'm done.
Next question. How are you going to implement what you're saying?
Any means possible.
What?
There's a lot of people out there that know a lot more stuff than me. I'm not going to lie. I'm very well versed on legislation and school nutrition because I used to be the president of the Nevada School Nutrition Association. I've advocated for our children since 1999. I got up there and I changed legislation. I've done it. I've walked across 5 chain link fences in front of the White House when Obama was there. I was there when his wife thrashed the school nutrition program. And we fought and we succeeded because the people were behind us. The smart people were behind us. You don't have to be super college educated and be on tons of boards. That's where the corruption comes in. Because once you start getting kickbacks and payouts, you lose focus of the people who are making $25,000 a year, where they have to open up a second business and they can't afford to pay their taxes every 3 months because they're barely making payroll. That's how things are going to get changed, by real life experience and by the support of the community that wants the change in a person that will make the change.
Next question, just like I asked Kathleen, tell me a little bit personally about yourself.
I love this part. Here we go. All right, so mom and dad met at Hug High, the old Hug High down on Sutro. Dad was an immigrant from Texas. My grandpa was a migrant worker, used to work on the fields. Down in Texas, the farmer said, you know what, why don't you bring all your family? At that time, it was like 7 kids and grandma. They let him come up on the fields. And at that time, my grandma had a brother here in Sun Valley. And they came over to Sun Valley and they bought their first acre for like $1,000. And we just started ranching goats, using the land. We have great dirt out in Sun Valley. We dug a well. And then we developed that 1 acre into 3 acres. I was born in the 70s. On my mom's side, my great-grandfather immigrated from Ellis Island, from Italy. That's where the Tamentini comes from. He used to ride his horse over the hills of Dayton and Minden with his guitar. with the different cattle ranchers and stuff, telling stories about Italy. And he ended up planting himself in Sparks right behind the Nugget and grew some grapes. And as a child, we'd sit and eat biscotti and we would smash our grapes and make grape juice. Always have the grape juice. We sold it to the Nugget. Grandparents passed. My family, the other last name is Brown, from the Little Brown School, Leland Brown. Very tight knit roots to this community. And I think it's time to get people from rooted Nevada back into our legislature, back into legislation, back into the county, back into this, all the different levels.
You, didn't you say, you told me today you had, your family had, and so ranches in Fallon and.
See, I get a minute, dude. I get a minute. So, but yes, my family has been ranching since we came out of Texas, since the 50s. We've ranched out of Churchill County. We have a brand with the Department of Agriculture, Nevada State Department of Agriculture, called Cortez and Sons. I'm third generation off of that. And off of that, I personally founded a nonprofit called Valley Amigos, where we teach ranching, farming, and horseback riding to the youth of the community. We work with urban roots. We're actually going to be down at Rancho San Rafael, which is in District 27, Sun Valley, down through Reno. And we're just bringing agriculture back. You know, it's cool to be a cowgirl, you know? That's what I wanted to be when I grew up, so. Thank you.
Thank you, you did pretty well. John Killeran is running for Mike Clark's current position in Washoe #2, right?
Yes.
All right, with that in mind, first thing is, you weren't here to begin, doing a 90-second intro.
I see yellow and I don't want to see red. Is that basically it?
Well, he throws it at you. Oh,
Look. So my name is John Killer. Again, my apologies to everybody for being late today. I had a first-time experience in my life pulling an alarm in an elevator stuck between floors.
you're
And
kidding.
of course, when you need your cell phone to work in that elevator shaft. Anyway, so again, my deepest apologies to everybody for being late. My name is John Killeran. I am, as Ray has said, running as a Republican candidate in Washoe County Commission District 2. For those of those who may not know the district, it starts where I live, near Rattlesnake Hill. It's not a mountain. They call it a mountain. It's a hill because I can climb to the top without losing my breath. It's a hill. It goes all the way down through southeast Reno, down through across South Arrow Creek, Montreux, St. James Village, that area, all the way through Washoe Valley down to the Carson Valley line. So it's pretty distinct. And what I found as I walk the district and talk with people is that people who live in different parts of the district have different important issues in their minds. And they may vary from what I might think is important where I live to somebody who lives out in Washoe Valley might think. I've spent 46 years living here. I had a 22-year broadcast career, half of it as a sports anchor director at the stations in town. I was news director at Channel 4 from 1999 to 2007. Left that industry and ended up with Brian Krolicki, our former lieutenant governor, speaking about the Olympic effort to try to bring sports tourism to the region. We continue to do that today. I was with Brian earlier today listening to some people who were interested in the campaign. Raised family here, my daughter, have 2 grandchildren in the area with a great son-in-law, and looking forward to speaking some more about the issues here with you.
all right, John, why are you running?
First time I've had the chance, because as I just told you, as the jobs I've had as a news director, despite what we think of the media, so I was news director, I left in 2007, facts mattered, and we did things up and down the line, and as a news director, you have to show objectivity. When we're doing an Olympic effort, trying to bring the Olympic Games here, it's a bipartisan effort. You need support from all angles. So this is really my first opportunity, though I've been a lifelong Republican. It's my first opportunity to actually be out there in the political arena, not just either covering it or trying to work projects with the people who were elected at the time. I'm very excited about this opportunity. I frankly thought about it a few years ago when I thought it would be an open seat election, but surprisingly, a few years ago, the incumbent got beat. I believe very strongly in fiscal responsibility. I believe that our county government has efficiencies, redundancies, things that we can look at where we can get the tax dollars to stretch a little bit better. I think you can always look at processes like that. And also that what we're trying to do is maximize service while minimizing the cost for them and doing those kind of things. I also am very, very strong on public safety. I love the neighborhoods throughout my district and throughout our cities, and I think that they need to keep their appeal. And we have to watch, as we do have growth, what growth is going where, and be smart about it. It's also an opportunity for us to look at our park and health situations. Those are both very strong, as are seniors. I'm personally a caretaker for my uncle and aunt. They're in their mid-80s, and they're getting a little bit more difficult for them to take care of themselves. So with them in mind, senior issue is extremely important.
You almost got the red.
I was like, I saw the hand moving over, and I wasn't having it. You're good, though. I like it.
Next thing, you've said some of the personal. Do you have other personal things you want to say? I mean, in your background, how you ended up here, and I know you started to say about grandkids, just personal.
Yeah, well, it's personal to me because, you know, I could say I moved here from Long Island, New York. I started coming to Reno as a 10-year-old. My grandparents from Brooklyn retired here, so that's why we're part of 5 generations that have called Reno, or there I did called Reno and Northern Nevada home. My grandparents first, my uncle and aunt who I now caretake, myself, and then my daughter is native and my granddaughters are native, though they're down in Carson City. So there's been a lot of things that I've done also through time, not just the work. I spent 16 years on the board of Care Chest of the Sierra, which was started by local pharmacists, completely local, and provided emergency medical supplies and, you know, things like that to people that were under or non-insured. I served on the board of the Humane Society before it merged with the county, where we made it a no-kill facility, taking the best care of animals and getting them adopted as we can. So there's a lot of things that I feel that this community has been great to me over the course of years as I've been able to live my life here. Frankly, I thought I might get my J degree or something at the university and then go back and plagiarize and write for the New York Times. And I never wanted to go back to New York once I've been here. This is home. This is where I'm at. And this opportunity gives me a chance to do whatever I can in the seat in District 2 to work with the other commission members to make sure we're doing the best for everybody, and not just for my constituents in District 2, but for the county residents as a whole.
Thank you. Before we go on to Justin, there's a couple of people I forgot to introduce. First, Kathleen Vineyard. She's with Republican Women of Reno and also the head of Washoe Freedom Coalition. Stand up. I saw him somewhere. Maurice Washington is with, he's here. Stand up, Maurice. He's an ex-senator and American for Prosperity. All right. I didn't miss anybody.
What about the candidates that are here?
I did already.
No, these guys.
No, I told him.
Julie Butler?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't here. I was chasing down John.
Okay.
I missed that part.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Justin, you're up. Your 1.5 minute intro.
My name is Justin Taylor. As I said, friendly tax collector.
Get closer to the mic.
Pardon me. I guess I don't scream loud enough for being a tax collector. That's a good thing. Yeah, I'm proud. I'm a proud father. My son is a full-time wildland firefighter with North Lake Tahoe. He was on the job 1 year. They decided, hey, this kid's got good work ethic. We're going to pick him up, make him full-time. It comes by it honestly. My education is in finance. I've worked for the county now just over 20 years. I've banged on over 10,000 doors collecting taxes. I've seen everything that you can possibly see in that situation. I've appraised for the assessor's office for 7 years. And as I said earlier, you know, this opportunity came about, and I saw a department that needed a little bit of a change. So that's where I am. But there's my intro, my bio, and why I'm running.
All right, next. Why are you running again?
I'm not finished with the transformation that office has to have. Like I said, we've changed up investment advisors. There needs to be some technology changes coming our way. We need to go to a newer billing system. And I need to make sure that I'm running that office as efficient as it should be. Currently, we're running at 19 people. It's a little thin. I should have 24. But I'm trying to find that happy median where we're not burdening the taxpayer by being overemployed, if you will.
Next question. How are you going to implement what you want to do?
Well, unfortunately, the county has a collective bargaining system unit, so I can't fire people. So through attrition, I will not be filling positions as we go forward. In regards to the technology that needs to come, I have partnered with Chris Sarman, our assessor, who does have a technology fund, and funds are set aside for us to go forward and move to get on the same billing software, billing and assessment software, to mitigate any of our systems that don't speak together real well.
Thank you. Now, do you want to give more of your personal history?
You know-
Family, et cetera?
I had to follow this guy at the Freedom Coalition, very well spoken. I'm not a polished politician. You're not going to get that. It's an administrative job, and I give you 110%. I'm there. I give you 45, 50, 60 hours a week. This is not a job that you can just walk in, sign a check, and walk out. I hear from the commission, all the commissioners, and our finance and budget. So, what you get from me is you're getting 110%, 100% of the time. Well, it is my family. It's my work family. And I take real good care of them, and we do a really, really good job for you.
I think she wanted to know any personal family.
Yeah. Oh, personal family. Yes, I do. My son, as I said, he's 23 years old. He works for North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District on the wildland side. Those boys sleep in the dirt 65 days a year, 80, 70 days a year, chasing those wildfires here in the Great Basin and all the states that connect. My mother and son and brother are here. That's the gist of my family. I don't have a big one.
Thank you for doing this.
Other than taxpayers.
I don't know who she's asking.
Kathleen,
Oh, okay.
I did see that.
Okay.
Isn't there some others
I
too?
didn't see that. Okay, go ahead. Your turn.
Well, I want to thank everybody for the questions. Gary, we're going to go into open mic now for the audience, but first I'm going to ask a couple more questions. And let's see if I can read. Oh, this is on a live stream question for Kathleen. The person's asking, we don't want to use names, but it is a live stream question. It seems like you're the only one to build a city for travel. Can you answer that? I'm just reading the question. The question is, why are you the only one to build a city for travel? And address violating travel to other cities or violating travel policies of the city.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say that's not accurate. I haven't traveled for the city in,
This person was asking about, sorry. This person was asking about submitting parking bills and getting reimbursed by
I've never
travel.
submitted a parking bill for the city of Reno and gotten reimbursed. I pay for my own parking. There was a This Is Reno article, I don't know, 3 years ago, and
Is that what it was?
what they said was that I used travel while I was on the planning commission before I was appointed. What they didn't say is that was Oscar Delgado's travel that I stepped into, and I also paid personally for my own airfare to get to the conference to get there. When I do use the city of Reno for a conference, I will reimburse for travel, but ever since we got into our budget deficit, I have not gone anywhere. And I'm putting my discretionary funds back into city funds. So that is an inaccurate statement.
Well, this was one question. Thank you for answering it. Now, go ahead.
My question has to do with
I
giving.
gather you're asking Kathleen.
Kathleen, if you could give us some examples of conservative bills that you've supported while you're on council.
Sure, absolutely. So I think it's important to understand that the city of Reno is a nonpartisan body.
Right.
We don't run as Rs, Ds, or independents. It's nonpartisan. I am a registered Republican. I have supported cuts, staffing cuts for this at the city manager level. He understands my position. And sorry.
He's fun, isn't he?
Yeah. So I supported the budget cuts that came before us. I've also supported reduced spending with services. I've supported selling the properties that we have through the RDA. I've supported consolidation. I have also worked with the city manager to identify funding that we could cut to balance our budget. I have voted against things with my other colleagues that aren't the city's responsibility. Horse fencing, some other things that aren't necessary that the city of Reno does. I have also supported police and fire, always asking for more police and public safety. I support cutting at the top, the council, freezing council pay, getting rid of discretionary funds, getting rid of long list, yes. It all, and everything comes back to fiscal responsibility. It's pretty simple.
Not right.
I'm going to jump in with one more. So if you become mayor, how are we going to fill the city council seat?
So that's a great question. There's two ways that it could work because I'm midterm right now. If I were to become mayor of Reno, the Ward 1 seat would become vacant. So based on city charter, we could do a special election. We could also do an appointment process. I'm not that far into this yet. I would listen to all of the people and the input, but it is going to come down to a fiscal responsibility question. If it's going to cost us $300,000 or $500,000, I'm going to have to look really hard at making that decision to do an election. The other part, as you guys probably know, is there's not a lot of voter participation in ward voting. I had like 11,000 people vote in my election. So I think there might be in Ward 1. Yeah. Exactly. So the big answer is I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm really focused on winning this race. And I'm not set in one way or the other, but it will be based on what the City of Reno charter says that we can do.
I don't think I need that, but. Yeah, so this is for Kathleen. First of all, with what's going on right now in cities around the country, you as mayor, how do you stand on this? Well, my first question is actually, let me back up. Sanctuary cities. It seems like we're kind of a secret sanctuary city, I think. So I wonder where you stand on that. And secondly, where do you stand if ICE comes here to take care of what they're supposed to do? Where do you stand on that?
Okay, so I appreciate the question, and I think there's some misinformation about what the city of Reno can actually do. I don't believe we are a sanctuary city. I think the mayor has said that we are a welcoming city. I don't exactly know the difference of that. That was said during, a long time ago. I wasn't there in that seat. What I can say about ICE and what is going on is the local government, despite what you hear, has absolutely zero input on what happens at a federal level. Nobody comes to the city of Reno and says, what can we do there? My job at the city of Reno and as the mayor and as a council person is to make sure that my police chief has all the resources that she needs to carry out that job. And I support her and I work with the city manager to do that. I also have had conversations with the county and the sheriff, and he has the resources that he needs to make sure that we are following the law.
Hold on, who's asking a question?
That doesn't really answer the question. So other mayors around the country are getting involved. So that just by the example, you could get involved, or I think you need to take a stand on this because of the environment we're in right now in this.
Yeah, I think I disagree with that because by not taking, When you say take a stance, do you mean get up and protest or not protest? Because there are things that we need as this community that it is my job as a council person to make sure that we have those resources for them. We are not going to be, rioting like other places do. And I think that's because we have a fantastic police chief. We work very closely with all of our law partners. We're going to continue that relationship. And really, we don't have any say over if ICE comes in here or not.
Well, what I mean by take a stand is, I mean, you're in an election right now. Will you cooperate with ICE? Will you
We don't
cooperate?
have an opportunity to cooperate with ICE. If ICE comes in and wants to work with our City of Reno police, that is something we will absolutely do. But
Okay.
we don't have, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. We don't have, as a local government, the authority to say, ICE, you can't come in here.
Well, there's other mayors that are doing that.
Well, we are not doing that I am aware of. And
So
as mayor,
it's
that is not
I
something
think
that
it's
I
a
would.
legitimate question right now in the environment we're in. I think it's very legitimate. I think if you're running for office, you need to take some stands on some certain issues. And that one that's, headlined right now in
I
the,
think I want to protect the city of Reno, and that I don't want to see us on the front page of the New York Times or have National Guard coming in. I think what we are doing right now is a good example of what we should be doing at
Well,
the city of Reno level.
yeah, well, I don't think we've had to deal with it yet, but.
Exactly.
well-
That's exactly my point.
Well, my point is it could happen because look what's
It
going
could
on.
happen, and
Absolutely, it's a reality and
It is a
something you may
reality.
have to deal with.
I
So I'm not
absolutely-
going to laugh it off. It's serious.
No, I think it's very serious, but I think we are doing everything that we need to be doing right now, which is I don't want to say cooperating because we don't really work together with ICE. Everything that we need to
Well,
be doing
But
right
you
now.
are supposed to, as a city, we're supposed to. That's the federal law. We're supposed to
And I will say
cooperate.
that at the level that we are engaged with ICE, which is more at, the jail facilities or at the county level, I think those conversations are happening in the way that is best for the city of Reno. And you might not know about it. So that's another great question. I don't know if Ray, I don't want to monopolize the whole time here, but I think this city is very compassionate. The county is very compassionate. I am fully supportive of an enforcement model now. I am not interested in spending any more money on services. We have everything that we need to give people help. What we are seeing right now is really a drug problem, I think. I don't think it's a homeless problem. It's impacting our businesses, our small businesses on 4th Street. I live downtown. It's impacting those businesses. We've got to move to an enforcement model, and I believe that takes the mayor, the city manager, and the city attorney. And I am 100% on board for that, and you will not, I get a lot of heat for it. It's not that I'm not compassionate. We have every resource that if you want help, we're gonna get you help in this community. Otherwise, you're not gonna terrorize our businesses or our public places.
I think somebody else had a question. Go ahead. Identify yourself and then after your question.
Sure. My name is Catherine Ingham, and this question is for you. Everybody else we've spoke to one way or another, so you're kind of new to us, so you get all the questions. I was watching the city council meeting last week on YouTube, and I was wondering, why did you guys give $1 million to a billionaire? And why did you decide on the contract for the ACEs before the contract was up? I mean, when you wait till the contract was up? So that's my two questions.
Yeah, I don't, we didn't give $1 million to a billionaire. We are already in debt for that money. So we owe $23 million. It was coming out of our general fund. What we did is we were able to make it go into the redevelopment agency so they could not come back after the general fund. We didn't give him any money. He's also he has to commit to investing $40 million in downtown. 20 of it has to be done in the first 5 years. So that is going to generate more money for the city of Reno. We are not giving anybody any money, and I'll tell you why. We don't have any money to give.
I guess
And
that's the only
when you
question.
look at the contract for baseball, things like this take a lot of time. So we have, there's a long process that it's going to go through. And to be completely honest with you, the Herb Simon is 92 years old. So there is some sort of time urgency to get this contract done before whatever natural causes happen and the Simon family business goes to somebody else, and then we don't know what is going to happen to baseball. The other part of that is the city of Reno has no business owning a facility like that. We cannot take care of it, and we have no funds to maintain it.
Can I go?
Now,
Can I go, Ray? I've been
yeah,
here.
go ahead, identify yourself with a quick question.
Alan Munson, Sparks resident, Washoe County resident. I have a question for both for you, Kathleen, and for John. The issue is the homeless issue, and I know the county is in debt. And my concern is, how are we going to be looking at homeless people who don't give a darn about changing their life, and we still continue to fund them and allow them to come in and stay? But would we save our money by saying, okay, are you willing to get help for yourself, change your life? If you're not in. Could you both, Kathleen, I know it's a city issue and we're in debt. And then John.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that question. The city of Reno does not have any resources for homelessness. All of the resources are at the county, and that has been a misconception. However, the city of Reno spends about $6 to $7 million a year on homelessness. And what I said previously is you have a choice. You can go get help, you can leave, or you can go to PAR. That is my position all day long.
Alan, thanks for that question. It's obviously a social situation on a lot of different levels. I think that the CARES campus has provided services in a much more streamlined way for those in the homeless community who want the help. I think what we as residents kind of see a lot are the folks, whether in downtown, which is part of the city and the county, or in places where they're very visible to us and they don't want the help. My concern, and I've been here long enough that I have a lot of friends who have small businesses in the downtown area, elsewhere around within the community. And I think we have to have protections in place for our business people, our children, and there have been some ordinances put in place. I know Sparks has looked at this with respect to people camping in parks or near schools. I really feel we have to look very hard at that, because I agree that we as a community, just as a social set, whatever your politics are, if there's somebody who's fallen on hard times, but is willing to do the work and wants to have an opportunity to grow back into a productive member of society, to be there for that with services, I think is something that a strong community puts forth. But equally, I believe that with people who are not wanting the services, and they just want to be out and about on their own, we have to be stronger about the fact that they can't do that, because that is detracting from our community in a lot of different ways and costing, whether it's the city who's not supposed to be spending money in the homeless area and homeless, or the county even more. We have to more strongly look at those issues.
Thank you. I think, Chrissy, do you have a question? Put the mic close to your mic face. Yeah.
Hi. I'm going to disregard Veronica and Justin again. So these are, sorry. I wish I had a question for you. Just on a note, there is a CHAB meeting, a homeless community advisory meeting on the 9th, and I strongly encourage everybody to go. I've got some good numbers, and I think it'll be a good bit of information. But as far as community concerns, and without saying I'm going to work with my colleagues, or we're going, if you have, I think all of us would just really appreciate an answer that has to do with some kind of tangibility. What would you do about the cost of employees, which raised very recently, and the PERS? And also, what mechanisms would you use to increase the infrastructure needs of the community, with the community having such a struggle with roads, traffic, safety services, lack of fire stations, these kinds of things. What is your actual plan to do that without just working with other commissioners, because that hasn't worked so far?
I'll tell you something, man. Go ahead. Who are you directing this?
Both Mr. Killeran and Ms. Taylor.
So I'll answer your first question. Thank you for it. When it comes to PERS, local governments don't have any say. The state dictates that. And that goes for about 80% of what happens at local government. So we don't get to say.
So just the state, though, the state employees pay more into PERS than the city and the county do. Is that correct?
There is, I think, some ongoing litigation right now between the PERS split. So, and I think that has to do with whether it's 5% off of the top of the dollar or 5% after the employees' 5% comes out. What we can do on the City of Reno side is for our unrepresented people, which we have about 2,000 employees roughly, we have about 250 unrepresented. That means they're not in a bargaining unit. We can get rid of the deferred compensation that the city uses, which isn't PERS, but it's also, it's one way to save money. I don't know if I have 3 friends at the time to do that right now, but it's an option that I'm willing to put on the table. Anything that we do to contract negotiations, we have to open a bargaining contract. The other side was, what was your second question? I'm sorry.
Development and infrastructure, how to strengthen development
Regionalization has
infrastructure.
got to be a conversation across the board. I didn't want to get the gavel.
Thanks for both those questions. With regard to PERS, obviously, I think Justin brought up a great point just in his department alone, being one department of it, is that he's looking at different ways that he can make the most efficient, whereas using possibly attrition. If you use attrition to get rid of a position, then you're also not paying PERS and those other things in that position. I think we have to look at that. Justin's doing in his own department. We look at all departments, and that starts to become more and more meaningful. With regard to, the fire station issue is one in District 2, especially with what happened out in the last few years out in Washoe Valley. That is something that's being brought to my attention more and more by the residents and people that live out there. I'm also told that through the commissioners also serving as Truckee Meadow Fire Commissioners, that there's no money to be had. But the bottom line is, there are services. People are telling me that you get out there to Washoe Valley and it could be 25 minutes before the closest emergent services department can respond to you in case of an emergency. And that's not numbers we want to see. It will be important to find ways in our infrastructure to grow that, and that by what I talked about, efficiencies and getting rid of redundancies, is in a time of difficulty how you create the revenues in these different departments then to give yourselves the opportunity to build on that. It's not just fire, there's water treatment we're going to have to worry about in the near future, not even the long future. And these are things where I think it's not easy to create new revenue, so we have to reapportion things that we do have.
Thank you, John. Now a question for you. How do you differentiate yourself from your current opponent that happens to be an incumbent?
That one's for me, Ray?
That's for you.
Okay, thank you. No, thank you for that question. And I'm going to say something very bluntly. I can count to 3. And what I mean by that is, it's one thing to ask tough questions, and tough questions need to be asked as we all, whether it's city or county government, as we have important financial, social, growth, development issues that we're going to have to handle over the coming years. But you also have to build your ability to get 2 other commissioners to see what you're saying and vote with you. And I'm sorry, over the last 3.5 years of being a longtime resident in District 2, I don't see that. And it's part of the reason I'm really getting involved here. I worked with an Olympic board of 37 public and private sector board members from Nevada and California. Talk about herding cats. But we found consensus because we all came in as reasonably sensible, open-minded people with a common goal. And yes, unlike the council, the commission is a partisan race. And I am a lifelong staunch Republican. But I also know that right now it's 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats. You've got to work with people and you have to find common ground in some place, some way, so that whatever it is I'd like to accomplish, I have to have at least 2 commissioners work with me. I have a track record in the news industry, in the Olympic effort, to be able to garner that support. And 3 is a lot easier to count to than 37.
Another question on the hot seat for you.
Hey, you're getting a break, Kathleen. This is awesome.
Now you made me forget the question. What's your feeling about the CARES campus and really the problems? Have you really investigated the issues out there? And I think Teddy, the chair, can tell you some.
More and more. Obviously, as a resident, homelessness has always been an issue to me one way or another. And so over these years, and especially now as I'm getting involved in this race, I understand the importance. I understand, I'll use the term because I see it a lot, the controversy over such things. Again, I'm going to restate exactly what I said earlier with Alan's question, is that I believe that a strong community will take care of its residents, including the homeless, but they've got to want the services and they've got to take the services, work with the services, and become productive members of our community then. That's how we grow bases. That's how we grow a better community. But if we don't have people, if we have people who do not want to be into these services, we cannot just let them take up whatever place they want within the community, within the law. We have to look at those laws, those ordinances, and we can't let it run amok. To turn a blind eye is not the right eye. We have to look at that particular situation.
Another question in relating to that.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about having facilities for the homeless, but there's a lot of criminal enterprise and drugs and stuff going on by the current administration running the CARES campus. Have you investigated because that's where the problem is.
I've read quite a bit about it, and I'm going to go back to my being a news director, and I might also mention a news director that during the 8 years of my term, we never got litigated against because we dotted I's, crossed T's, facts mattered, and we reported down the line. I am learning a lot about those situations, and I know specifically, I think there's some talk about the Karma Project, things like this. I'm reading about them, and I'm doing everything I can to better educate myself about them, because only when I feel that I've reached that point where I'm getting all the information from all the stakeholders, from all the concerned citizens, and everything, can I then think that if I'm in that commissioner's seat, I can make a productive, open-minded, and valuable decision for myself. And again, if there's change to happen, have 2 commissioners at least agree with me. So yes, to answer your question, Ray, I am doing everything I can, like with a number of subjects that are much more important to me now that I'm in this opportunity. I'm learning about it, and it's definitely something to be concerned about. And I will continue to be educated, so at the time when I'm elected, I can help to take the better action, the actions that need to be taken to make sure that we're working with that in all the proper ways and the most productive ways, again, to tackle the issue, which is homelessness.
Another question is directed to you. I'm not picking on you.
Go for it, Ray.
What's your view about the timing of the meetings? And this applies also to the city. It's always in the afternoons. People are working, can't come in the evening. And the damn meetings, to put it simply, are way too long. They don't know how to run a meeting. Boom, 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 and get it done and go home.
Thanks for that question, Ray. You know, it's funny, during my, this goes back to when I started in the business as a videographer, my opening into the business in the mid to late 1980s. I remember covering most city council meetings were at night, and county commission meetings were mostly at night. And of course, there's been a transition. The word that I hear is you know, that there's a fiscal responsibility to staffing meetings. If you do it during the day, during normal work hours, I get all that. That said, as I've sat in commission meetings or been to some city council meeting over the last couple of years, unless there's a hot button issue that really gets somebody's, residents' attention, attendance is very meager. And granted, we have ways of now being in touch like we are today, online, but you can't exactly participate. Here you're taking people's online questions. So I would like to look at ways that at least mixes it up. In other words, sometimes daytime should work, and maybe more people should be more interested on a regular basis with what their government's doing than who shows up. But I also think we have to look at mixing it up so that there are, especially for really key hot button issues, that maybe those evening sessions wouldn't be the best way. To me, it's like when I put on my events in sports, you want to fill the seats. I'd like to see commission and council meeting with filled seats, because that means you have an engaged public. And whether it's poor scheduling, lack of interest, we don't have that right now. So I'd be very open to the way we could improve that.
Kathleen, what's your comment?
Well, I think you've seen I'm very brief and to the point, and when I run a meeting, I stay close to the agenda. I am the spokesperson of that meeting, and I will say when I was chair of the planning commission, I think I ran the fastest meeting at 9 minutes. So our city council meetings are very, very long. I don't think that you need to talk to every public commenter. I think, unfortunately, we have a timer right now of 3 minutes. It's sort of embarrassing. I think you need to work with council members before. We have briefings. We get to ask questions, and I think the mayor needs to enforce that and be stricter when they're running the meeting. I do think that we have some members that really like to hear themselves talk, especially if there's a camera.
You think?
That's not going to be my model for running meetings at the city council.
Thank you. I believe Tammy has a question. I don't know who it's directed toward.
It's for Kathleen. Hi, I'm Tammy Holt Still. Hi, I work with Ward 4 a lot. And one of the things I've noticed is my many years of being at city council. Previously, city council is always when the council person for Ward 4 makes a motion for a vote to go a certain way because they know how their ward should run. They want it to, they make a motion for it to go that way. Council follows suit. I've noticed since the current councilwoman is in place, that is not the case, and everybody votes against her. As mayor, will you start listening to the council person in Ward 4?
So thanks for the question. I've actually started working closer with Councilwoman Ebert. I think we got off on a rocky start, but since we've been working together on issues, just because the person in the ward we represent the city, it's not just wards. So my decision-making is always going to be best on what is best for the city of Reno. It's not ward specific. I think very highly of Councilwoman Ebert and her passion for her ward. And I don't see anybody who has ever been more committed to her ward than Councilwoman Ebert. And I've reached out to her several times and said, how do we get you the things that you want? You want to have entertainment out there. You want to have commercial out there. You want to have restaurants out there. How do we work together to get those things? And I'm willing to absolutely help her get those things in any way I can.
Thank you, Kathleen. Before we go on to their closing comments of 90 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Daddy. Use the mic. Show them the button. There you go.
All right. Excuse me, ma'am. Do we have to wait for you to come back? Okay, because yes, you this. No, I'm fine. Ms. Mayor, or Mayor to be. I met with Shivi, me and a couple other people, and she fed us this beautiful dinner and conversation-wise. And as soon as we got done, we found out everything was spoiled. I say that to say that she fed us the beautifulest picture that we could ever imagine. And we really thought she was down for the homeless situation until the Care Campus, which is the VDA or VAO or VOA, told her different. So everything that she told us was poppycock. So I'm just letting you know, you're getting up there in the seat, and I'm here. I'm a mouth. Trust me, I'm a mouth, as y'all can tell. And she fed us. We believed her that she was going to help do this. We gave her a plan to try to help get some of the homeless off the street. And VOA said, this is how we're going to do it. And so she said, oh, I didn't say it that way. We should have recorded it, but we didn't. But anyhow, and your situation as far as the drugs on the thing, what are they going to do when they get out of prison and they're strung out? Our prison system got the best drugs that you could ever imagine. They got fentanyl, which is killing people on the street, everybody know about. They also got spice. Spice is a drug that's the potpourri dipped in embalming fluid. And they like for them to take that because spice, if you ever seen the movie Walking Dead, they walk around like zombies in there. And they like that because they like them on that because they just walking around as zombies. And my name is Catfish Kickstart Program. I work with inmates when they get out of prison. I help them get a job, a place to stay in the house. And it's hard for me, Victory Outreach, all of us working, trying to help these people get back into society when they get out of this room. So the question, well, then it branches off to where, what can we do if our prison system, which is invading all of our neighborhoods, is letting out people strung out on drugs? And if you need, y'all can definitely have a copy of this. This is a no, all of them. Well, they let them out to each one of your neighborhoods. I have a lady in Sparks. They letting them out too. Yes, please.
Catfish, it's so good to see you. Got your card right here. Want to make sure it's on top. I appreciate you for what you're doing. I think, and this is what the people say, from experience, my brother's incarcerated right now. He just got transferred from county to state prison. That's another reason why I'm running. It's a terrible system that they have. They need to have insider information on what is going on in the systems. They have no idea what it's about. I come from a 15-year addiction of crystal meth. I've been 17 years clean. I've made 3 businesses and I've started a nonprofit, and you know that I help people trying to stay out of jail, squash their warrants. I give them day labor so they can pay their fine, and I provide community service out in Sun Valley so that they can just be done with the courts. I am with you on this. We need to get mental health back as a priority. If it wasn't for my counselors, for my therapists, for the Salvation Army, for the food banks, for the priests, for all this support that I had at no charge, I would not be here today. And I'm 100% behind you and cleaning up our prison systems. They're the reason my brother can't get out. They're keeping him in there because he's a dollar amount for them, and they're getting money for everybody in there. And as soon as we can get legislation passed to better the people and clean it up, it's going to stay the same, and I hope I can do that for you.
What do you really think?
If you don't mind, I did 22 and a half years in there. I've been out 5 years, for those who don't know me. And a gentleman just got out for the 4th time.
Yeah.
And the reason why they keep letting him out is because he's strung out. He's homeless and he's
He'll be
strung
back.
out. And they keep letting them out.
Yep.
It's another gentleman in there who I do art shows for incarcerated
You're getting a
inmates.
break.
And most people know. He's not a return rate. He can't get out. They just gave him a 4-year dump. He has no points, no nothing. These are the things that our prison system is losing to the community, because there's one lady, her son is strung out in there, and she found a dead cat on her door. She stays out in Spanish Springs. I had to move her. So
I
the
don't want to
question,
cut you off, but in a time constraint, you can talk to people. You
Yeah.
have great ideas and stuff, especially to her.
and I
Get
got
her
your name, I'm gonna
elected.
get you. And as far as the drugs coming out and the homeless situation, I got a solution for your homeless situation if you ever get time there, and we can talk about it. All right. Thank you very much for your.
All right, Janet has a question, and then we're going to have each candidate do 1 minute, boom, 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 a quick, what do they call it? Quick,
Closing statement.
yeah, closing.
This question's for Mr. Killeran.
You got to bring it closer.
There we go. Can you hear me now? When it comes to canvassing the vote, and people present to you the anomalies that they see at the polling places, will you just vote to go along, to get along? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I'm about free and fair elections, period. It's the most American thing we do. It's a solemn obligation and a solemn oath, and we have to be able to have trust in it. As we learned in 2024, there are state statutes that apply in certification of canvasses regardless of personal opinion. What I can assure you is I will ask every question. I will observe in that position. I will do everything I can so I see myself what is or isn't going on, what is or isn't happening, so that we make sure that we do have free and fair elections, whatever process may be used, so that they are completely more trusted than we are seeing right now. I mean, I understand the lack of trust, and that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be fixed.
Well, we saw in the last
No, I want
election.
to cut you off.
I got to say this.
Yeah, please let her hear.
We saw in the last election that people came to the dais and had proof.
Mhm.
And we only had one commissioner in the end, and that was Jeannie Herman, who stood up and said, I will not vote yes until I review what is going on. And that's what we're looking for, is for someone that can stand up. You don't have to vote. They threatened to prosecute them. They weren't going to. They did not prosecute Jean Herman. But we need to feel comfortable with our elections. Thank you.
Janet, question.
No, Ray, I'm happy to make a comment to that. I couldn't agree with you more in the sense of what I've said, to have free and fair elections. So I'm open to whatever reasonable, again, I go back to when I was news director. People brought me stories they claimed to be fact or not, and sometimes we investigated them independently ourselves, and they were not right. Sometimes they were. Whatever those outcomes were, we reported them accurately and fairly. It would be the same approach that I would use here. I wouldn't want, what I've seen at times, I've seen people at the public comment cut off, given short time. What I'm saying is, I'm open to any and all information that would be brought to my attention to make a proper decision.
But would you stick your neck out like Jeannie did?
I did as a news director for 8 years. I did running an Olympic effort. So that's what I'm saying is, I'm willing to hear from anybody and everybody who has a legitimate concern and brings fact. Now, I know we live in an era where somebody can state something's a fact and we're just supposed to take it that way. That's not a fact. A fact is something that can be corroborated. And again, I have a lot of experience in my work life doing this, especially as news director. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you right now, no, I won't vote to certify, because there may be no factual evidence that I would see that would suggest I should vote that way, regardless of state statute.
Hold on, Janet, we got to cut you off. If you guys don't mind, we're normally in the meeting at 1:30, but they haven't had their 1 minute blurb, and Jane Tabor wanted validly to ask a question. Go ahead, ask your question, and if you guys don't mind, I'm sure the candidates will stay to answer questions. Go ahead, Jane, and then they'll do the 1 minute.
All right, then this would be just a point of clarification on 2 items. One is the voter ID, which I have information on, and 2, the definition of sanctuary city. It won't take me 2 minutes to do this, all right? First one that I mentioned on the voter ID and clean elections, your senator, majority leader in the United States Congress, John Thune, you need to talk to him, get his phone number, get his address. He's going to be holding up what is called the SAVE Act, SAVE. And in that act, it requires photo ID, citizenship for census, and everything else to clean it up, and that would be a federal law. The second thing is you have to vote for the question 7 on voter ID that's going to be on your ballot. Do not stay home, pretend Trump is right on your shoulder, and get your little selves in there. Okay, point 2 would be sanctuary cities. The problem with this right now is there's no clarification. It goes all the way up to the federal government. What we have now is a welcoming city, in quotes. The federal government
Jane, you're
defines.
gonna have to cut it off.
All right, quickly. The government defines welcoming city as a sanctuary city. You have to clean that up. If you don't clean it up, the feds are going to come in and take away your federal funds. Trump has already said that. And if you think you're in federal monetary problems now, just wait. So don't push it under the table. Whatever office you're running for, get a clarification if you have to stand out front the door for the rest of your life, because it counts on all cities and states who make up these little things and are really in trouble. It is sanctuary, period, and they will take away your federal funds. It has been stated. Do not ignore that. And that's all, just points of clarification. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Kathleen she's already running late for a meeting. I'll have her do her short final comment, and then we'll go to the others.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry I have to run out, but it was a pleasure to be here today. As one of the commenters said, they sat down and they painted a rosy picture. The city of Reno doesn't have a rosy picture for you to paint today. We are running at a $20 million deficit year after year. It's compounding, and it's because we have spending problems, we have revenue problems. My number one priority is to get us back on track. I am the only candidate who can do that, who can win. I know that there is another Republican in this race. I'm here to tell you that Kate Marshall is probably going to come out of the primary very strong. Her in local government is not where we want to be from my perspective, and I have a chance to beat her. I'm not going to waste your time and go on for the whole 2 minutes, but I guess if I want to leave you with anything, I really want to make local government boring again. We're responsible for police, fire, roads, infrastructure, and parks. And that's what we need to get back to doing. And I'm happy to talk with anybody at any time about anything. Thank you very, very much.
Do you have a phone or website?
Yeah, so I put my card out over there. It has my personal phone number on it. Ray knows how to get a hold of me. You can contact me. I'll sit down with anybody. Thank you so much. And thank you to my other
Thank
candidates.
you for coming. If you let her get to her meeting. Next is Veronica. Closing comments.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and listening to us. Campaigning is a hard thing. You have to really want to do it. You have to listen to the people. And I've been on the Citizens Advisory Board out in Sun Valley for a year now, and I realized that I can do better for the community. I want to do better. And yeah, we need to get better representation up on top. We need to be following the laws the way they were written, the way they were intended, not how we interpret them. We need to stand together. We need to get the integrity back in our elections, and we need to get the corruption out, starting at a state level. I'm very excited to work, on state level things, the prison system. I didn't tell you about my family, but I have a 4th grader. She's a terrible roommate, but I love her to death. She doesn't do any dishes or laundry or pay the rent, and I always have to pack 2 lunches. But I'm very aware of what the difficulties are in raising a family here locally. I could just imagine what you guys went through. I also have a 28-year-old daughter. So my girls are 18 years apart, so I decided to be a mom for a long time. And I have a granddaughter, she's 5, and she's about to get into the school system. And I hope I have your support to get up into the seat. of District 27 Assembly legislation so that we can get the change in there that we need, because apparently the person who's there right now is not doing a good job, just to say the minimum. I don't know this person. I didn't even know about this position, but running for county commissioner and seeing the good people we have that will do a great job, whoever it is that gets that spot, and the school board, which is just kind of hopeless for now. I'm gonna start at the state level. I'm gonna get back up, hopefully, with the blessing of God and everybody. We can get the seat, we can get the Republican seat and start getting the laws on the book the way they're supposed to be followed.
Right.
You know, our protection. I ain't scared of that. I ain't scared of a gavel. I'm a lunch lady. Thank you and God bless you.
John, you're next.
Ray, thanks for inviting me today to be here. And Kate, thank you for having me at the Washoe Freedom Coalition a couple times. I've really enjoyed being able to speak with the folks here today. Thank you all for being here. You're obviously interested, and that's very, very key. And I'm happy to stay afterwards. If anybody has any individual questions, happy to stay here. For those online who are listening and don't have that opportunity, John Killeran, JONKILLORAN.com is the website. You can learn more about the campaign, and we'll be, of course, adding to that as we move along here in the next few months. I believe in service over self. Whether I've been in the private sector or not, it's not about me. It's about a group of people trying to work towards a common goal. And in this sense, it's a district, it's a commission, it's a community, it's a county. And I want to work diligently. I chose 4 words for my campaign: proactive, accessible, accountable, authentic. And it's not just a brand. Like, if somebody tells you they're transparent, it's a buzzword these days. Transparency, if you have to say you are it, you're probably not. Just be transparent. But proactive, I like to jump on things. I like to try to take care of things before they come an issue, see them ahead of time. Accessible. If you reach out to me, I will always respond in a timely fashion, despite elevators and alarms. As far as accountable, you have to be, because people forget. I love the movie Dave when he says, I forgot that this is a temp job. I'm in it as long as you want me to be. And that's what we are as elected officials. We're there as long as they're wanted to be. And authentic, I hope I've shown you today that I am what I am, whether I eat my spinach or not. Thank you very much. Look forward to this next few months in the campaign.
Justin, you're next.
Boy, this is always a fun one. First off, I'm going to say thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for the invite. You know, I'm not the most eloquent. I'm a numbers. I'm a geek. I'm a numbers guy. You know, I will stand behind you 100%. Excuse me. You know, I do see that we are going to be seeing some tax hikes coming during this next legislation. And just so you know, my last 2 go-arounds, I've stood right down there and told them this is the worst idea, because they never start at the county treasurer level or the assessor. They come up with a harebrained idea, and then they try to have us implement it, and we have to scream. So just so you know, I'm there for you. It's been a pleasure working for you. I'll give you another 4 years of 110%, 100% of the time, if you'll have me. And I'll leave you with that.
And they haven't thrown things at you for being a tax collector.
I didn't catch it.
I said they haven't thrown things at you yet here, being a tax collector.
Yeah, being a tax collector, I'm still lucky I'm not wearing tar and feathers.
All right, with that in mind, Bill finally brought cookies. Have some cookies. And the next meeting of Redmove, before you leave, is March the 4th. And it's going to be a very good meeting. Lisa Krasner and Diane Sullivan are going to be there, meet the candidates. And Julie Butler and Drew Rebar are going to be on there. It should be very lively. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry that we went over a little bit. And Veronica's so shy. Veronica, you did good. You're so shy.
I just have to
Ray, I got a question for you. I've been completely out of touch with what the Republicans are doing in the county.
Nothing, but anyway,
Well, that was what I was gonna ask you. Has anything changed?
not really.
You know, I'm really
I
worried.
could tell you a different answer.
Yeah, no, I don't want the wrong answer.
Yeah, they're trying.
The midterms, the
For the